As a business owner or marketing professional, have you ever struggled with email marketing and getting real results? Of course you have. We all have. We all face numerous challenges with creating content and delivering that content to prospects so it works. Despite the challenges, email marketing remains one of the most effective strategies to get to your ultimate goal, more clients and more revenue. Or is that two goals? You decide. Well, to dig into this today, I'm pleased to welcome a guest who is an expert on digital marketing that's going to help us with all of your email marketing questions. So, with me today is Eric with Endorphin Digital Marketing. Cool name, Eric. Endorphin. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jeff. It's great to be here today.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, your background, and what Endorphin can provide clients.
Endorphin is a digital marketing company, and we're in our 20th year of operations. And we're really a marketing company first. Marketing often falls down when there isn't a really clear focus on your customer, who exactly your customer is. And we find that over and over and over again. And so that's kind of the foundation upon good marketing. And that's something that we kind of specialize in doing. And then everything we deliver is digital.
Well, I'm sure your career choice is always changing.
Yeah, it's a fast moving
Mhm.
industry, and there's so much to learn between marketing and what works and different types of customers that our clients are trying to engage with and different technologies. So there's a lot of different sort of best practices from, email and websites and SEO and social media, and so there's a lot to learn, I just love what we do.
Now, I understand you have a background with other companies that do email marketing.
Yeah, so we've been a partner with Constant Contact for close to 20 years. And we do that partly so that we keep updated on email marketing and digital marketing by, real true experts. And so we can help our clients better. And so what we did at some point many years ago, we started teaching classes
Hmm.
as a speaker for Constant Contact. And so I've taught somewhere like 300 or 350 classes over that time. And I just love it. And again, it changes each time. And, people have such different perspectives and ideas about marketing and social media and content and things like that. It's fast moving, and I really just have a great time doing it.
So, of all your years doing this, how many emails do you think you've seen that,
Oh boy.
you know,
Well, yeah, I mean, thousands and thousands. And, we obviously get a lot of emails from, chambers and associations and other companies and
sure.
things like that. And we create a lot of emails, obviously. So,
So I asked the question, Eric, because when with so much noise out there, I get a million emails myself right here on the screen, and you've seen so many of them. Don't you just cringe when you see them and just see that there's a big need to make the whole process better?
yeah, yeah. And like we talked about at the very beginning here, it all goes down to targeting your unique audience, your
Hmm.
targeted audience, because if you're talking directly to your target audience and you're addressing them in your email, it's not spam, right? But if you are not doing that, so if you're just sending a blanket email out to everybody on your list, a lot of those people are going to think it's spam because it's not directly targeted to them. So
Hmm.
that's part of the problem.
So we've set you up as the expert that you are, and today we're going to learn a little bit about some strategy to email marketing. The article that you wrote that we're going to partner with this video talks about a four-step sales process. Can you get into that a bit and explain how today's discussion fits that and what those watching need to do with their own sales process?
Yeah, so every company has to sort of bring their potential customers along a process, right? And so, first thing is we need to sort of get people to know who we are, right? And then learn, through this process of steps, are we the right potential customer or provider for this company? Have we done work for companies just like them? Do we have happy customers? And can we get them to request some sort of, we obviously want to get them to the point of requesting a proposal or a quote or, get them on the phone so we can talk to them for a meeting, that kind of thing. And then we've got to close the deal. So there's a real process in sales and marketing is to sort of drive people through that process with certain tools and steps and content. And so that's the challenge. I think that most people don't follow that process
Something
enough.
else. Let's talk about as part of an email campaign, you might spotlight testimonials, reviews, somewhere in that email to talk about the positive things in your company. How do you balance the authenticity of that with every company gets some negative reviews or some not perfect reviews? Can you talk about that? The building trust part of showcasing those reviews and testimonials.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, because the problem or the challenge with digital marketing is we're trying to present our company as the ideal provider for these particular services. And so we're trying to get people so then we often talk about ourselves. We say we have experience doing this. We can help you. We can do this. Where customers want you to talk to them about their problems. And that's one of the biggest challenges we see is most companies talk about themselves and especially in email and social media, they say this is what we can do. We're experts in this. Where the customer doesn't really want to hear that. They want to hear how are you going to help their issues, their challenges. And so that's where you get this mismatch of, hey, we know what we want to say to these people, but we just use the wrong voice. And we really should be saying it's about you, the customer, and we want to help you. So that's one of the big mismatches we see and what we think divides very good marketing from not effective marketing.
But see, that may be where the I'll do it myself and we think we know the message that will work and we really don't. So outside help is so important with that. But let's go a little deeper, Eric, on that. You talked that was good information, but let's talk about trust because in that process you have to build that trust with your clients,
Yes.
the credibility in an email campaign. How do you do that?
Well, first off, you need to be forthright and direct that again you have this experience of doing work for these people, and it has to feel like a one-on-one conversation. And and that you really care. And so I think some people just lose that part of the message and can't establish that trust with the potential customer. And that's where there just isn't any engagement. And, and that's the challenge of building that trust that you speak about, which is so important.
I know I get emails every day. It'll be like, dear somebody, dear valued something, or Dear Jeff. I don't do an email like that. I just think that that's a quick way to turn off the effectiveness of an email. So thinking about that, what kind of an intro, what kind of a way can you suggest that companies use their opening so that they get the attention of the customer without losing them right away? Because I'm quick to hit the delete button.
Yeah. And many people are quick to hit the delete button. And so you've got to say, right up front, hey, that here's a challenge we are helping. Here's something that we're addressing. And um, you've got to sort of be very direct about that, hey, we're very good at helping, facilities with cleaning services, right? And so if you can establish that quickly right away at the top, and this work this leads to basically email segmentation, right? So where you say not dear Jeff, but hey, this email is for facilities managers, right? Or data center managers, even more specifically, or medical center managers, right? So if you're telling people that you generally don't see that in many of the emails that you get that are not effective, that you will delete quickly, they don't say who they're speaking to. And so it's this generic, hey, customer, we do this stuff. Do you want to buy it? And that's not the way to sell, especially services, especially important services that are related to, in the cleaning industry, safety and health, and there's all sorts of things. So it's hey, we're good with, you know, cleaning for healthcare, right? Or medical centers or data centers or hospitality, whatever it is. And sort of putting that flag in the sand saying, this is what we're good at, and this is who we're talking to in this email. I hope that
Sounds
helps.
like you know a little bit about the cleaning industry.
A little bit. We do have a fair amount of experience, and the whole list segmentation part of email marketing is largely ignored
Hmm.
by most small businesses, even up to pretty decent sized businesses, because they don't believe it's important, and it is a pain in the neck to some extent. Um, and the other fallacy that I find is people say, well, I don't have a very big list. Your list can literally be a list of one. If you're saying, hey, this is one customer in this health, medical center that I really want to get this piece of business. Well, send that one email looks like a newsletter, but it's going just to that person. And you're saying, hey, we are experts at medical center thing. Here's issues faced by medical center, and you could send it to that one person and they'll think, wow, these guys nailed it because that's exactly me. And they don't realize that it was just sent to one person. I had a client that did that in California and they were very successful. And it was that segment of that fine of a degree that it was an email list of one.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to being out of time, but I'd like to have ask one more question based on that because those watching, they've learned a lot from you about what to do with their email content, how to introduce it, how to make it more impactful. But they also want to build their lists. You mentioned a list of one is effective, but what are some strategies you can share to build an email list and also to keep it legal, thinking about privacy and all of those issues that seem to be getting more impactful on what we do today?
Yeah, that's a great question and a very important topic. So, an email list is best built slowly and one by one. And so it's, start with your customers, start with your friends, start with your vendors, start with your partners. Those kinds of people are the people that should be on your email list. People you don't know should not be on your email list. So email is only really for people that you know. And so that's the way your list should be built. Don't buy a list. Don't just grab email addresses off the web or something like that. It really is a waste of your time and it's a waste of their time because they're just going to delete and unsubscribe from your email anyway. So it's something that kind of has to take time and be sort of an intentional process. And it should kind of be an ongoing process. And but there's a lot of statistics that show, and I think I've talked some of them in the article that we have written for you, showing that how valuable an email list is if built the right way and if segmented the right way and with the right type of content where, you know, everybody wants to do social media. Social media is the flashy, new, cool thing. Most people aren't going to get much out of social media unless they pay for it. The free social posts just really aren't going to move the needle in terms of sales, whereas your email list really will move the needle.
Good strategies. A lot of it, though, from what I'm hearing, is like delivering emails to sell something. But what about content marketing? I think you have some tips to share on that because we can deliver content that's not salesy, but that still can get us results. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great point. In many cases, remember we have a sales process, and your ideal target may already have another vendor. So that's going to make your sales process even longer because you're going to have to knock that vendor out of the picture so you can win the contract. So, content marketing over a period of time where you're just providing useful, good information and sort of helping brand your business is a really good strategy for your email marketing is just to say, okay, I know I'm not going to get this customer today. I'm not going to get them tomorrow even. But if I keep my name in front of this customer and show them that we do good work, we have happy customers, we can be a trusted vendor for them, then we could get that call at some point in the future. And so some of that stuff might be just company overviews, case studies, maybe product demos. Maybe a special offer here and there, just to see if they might bite on that. Maybe there's industry news. Maybe there's company news. Maybe you expand to another state, which shows you're growing and that you have happy customers. Things like that, where again, you're just showing these people in a non-salesy manner that your company is good, it's successful, it's got happy customers, and you would be a good fit when the time comes. And that's a real the good type of content to include in email marketing.
Good advice. Last point, automation, because we have to do that, don't we? You can't be manually doing all of this. You need some automation, maybe some segmentation of your emails and your lists. Can you talk about that to conclude?
Yeah, we outline this in the article, and there's a couple of really great ways to use email automation that will save your company and your salespeople time and effort. And so, for example, one might be in the sales process where, hey, you've called on this ideal customer, right? They're a medical center or whatever, but boy, this would be a great client for us. But they have another vendor. And so you can't win that client today, but you can stay in front of them. And so if you have an automated series of, say, 4 or 5 emails that are set up in your system and that will go out over a period of time automatically. That's a perfect situation because you can simply say, hey, thank you very much for meeting with me. I know you're happy with your vendor at this time now, but here's my contact information, and we would love to have the chance to have you as a customer. And then you kind of send another email the next week, and then the second email goes out automatically a few days later or the next week that says, hey, thanks again. By the way, here are some, maybe you don't know about all our services. So here are the services that we provide, and you can link back to your website so they can learn a little more. And then another email goes out a week later, 2 weeks later that says, hey, thanks again. By the way, did you know this? Right? Maybe it's an article that you've written about cleaning and disinfecting from protecting against germs and diseases and viruses, something like that, right? And then so it's this drip marketing of, hey, we know you're happy with your current vendor, but here's just a little more information if you're interested, and I'm always ready if you have any questions or need anything. And so you're simply staying in front of these people in a friendly manner automatically over a period of time with useful information. And hopefully, after these 4 or 5 emails have gotten to this person, they'll at least remember your name, the name of your company. And, at some point, their other vendor is going to mess up, or they're going to raise their prices or whatever it is. And they're going to say, hey, we should look at somebody else. And hey, these guys keep emailing me, and it looks like they're a good fit. They really want to work with us. Maybe we can call Jeff and see if they would be a good fit for us. So that kind of automation works very, very well. And once it's set up, you don't have to do anything.
That sounds like a win.
Yes, sir. It works very well.